Well, good evening everybody and welcome along once again to ILR2 Season 3 Round 13 live from the streets of Singapore. We're here for qualifying on the lovely Saturday night here in Singapore. Well, it's Sunday for us, but we're pretending it's Saturday. So it's a lovely night, nice clear night as we go for a great qualifying session. Some new drivers and a new challenge. As Jolyon Palmer says, you have to be alert on a street circuit, and these guys certainly must be as well. And joining me, as always, in the commentary box is, of course, Mr. Owen Wyatt.
Hello, Soup.
Hello.
I'm really looking forward to this race. As long as there's no rain, we're good.
The curse was broken last race. We didn't have rain, but I have a feeling that there is. We're gonna say that there isn't, and hope there isn't, but it's probably gonna. It's going to bring our hopes up with a dry start and then just rain halfway through. But yeah, I think that's what's going to happen anyway. But 18 drivers today. We have 2 missing in the shape of Massives and, of course, Brandon. But we've got some new drivers to introduce. There he is in the Red Bull. We've got Carl Tactics there. He is filling in for... Well, he's not filling in for him. He's replacing, full-time, Lyle Blade, the once championship leader at the beginning of the season. Is now out of ILR2 entirely, and now Carl Tactics is debuting in the Red Bull. And of course we have Chill Drive down in 17th currently. He has made a deal and he has joined the Toro Rosso team in that coveted seat alongside Paul McGuinness as Matt leaves for America. Well, he's already there and I think he's having a wonderful time. But and also we have... I think Matty Shaw as well, who's going to be in the Red Bull, as EFC Matthew is also out of the ILR2 season as well. So basically we've had a brand new Red Bull team entirely. Now let's recap on the race last week, where we saw the championship turn once again, as we saw Tom take the win in Monza in front of the Tifosi, and also... He's now 5 points behind Paga. So this is a crucial race for both of these drivers. Basically, if Tom outscores Paga today, he's pretty much either going to be level with him or he's going to go in front. So Paga really needs to get a good result here. And let's hope that these drivers can give themselves a good battle. But Owen, you've raced around this circuit in ILR3. What sort of challenges are around this circuit?
We've got to be careful in turn 1, especially at the start, because it gets so much more bounce than you'd expect, and there's so much concertina, because you're barely on the throttle out of the exit, and then you hit turn 2, and that's mainly where loads of contact can happen. And especially if you have any damage on here, even just a little bit of yellow, the walls, they come at you so badly, you will lose your front line very easily on the circuit if you get involved with lap 1 incident. So yeah, just to keep your nose clean.
And yeah, absolutely, you got to keep that nose clean. You got to keep that nose intact as well. But this is also a good time to say that the corner cutting is now on strict for the rest of the season. So now we're going to see probably more representative lap times rather than the interesting times we've been seeing through the season. But yeah, strict corner cutting for the rest of the season. So a lot of drivers were calling for that from the start of the season, and now it is in effect. So it's going to be a lot harder to hook a lap together, especially around tracks like this with a lot of corners, and there's just that temptation to push that a little bit too much and put it over the white line. But currently we had the first few floods of lap times, and it's currently Jordan on top on a 1:37.6, and Mr. Costa just behind there with Paga in 3rd. Yannick is back as well in 4th there. I believe he actually missed one of the races because he's at the Formula E in Zurich. So that was a good reason to miss, I suppose. Tom in P5 currently, and a few others to set their laps. Casper also back after a 2-race absence, who's just completely missed the corner. Sir, I know it's on strict, but perhaps if I cut the corner too much, it won't register. There's Corey coming through Sector 2. And he had a great race last time out with Tom, himself and him, and a great battle through Monza. And he really looked like he was going to be able to challenge for the victory, but just couldn't do it. Got P2 in the end, but it was a fantastic battle between himself and Tom. Ultimately, Tom won out, but he certainly got the pace to be up there. And also, and going back on the challenges, the pit entry is also one you really got to watch, because you've got a double curb almost. You've got one to divide the track and one to show the pit entry, and it's very, very easy to run wide over those curves and drift back onto the track and possibly cause a huge accident. So that you really got to be careful there as well.
Well, on strict corner cutting as well, if you say a damage or a puncture or whatever, you mess up that entry, which is very easy to do, you may end up coming slightly back into the track, and that instantly gives you a penalty as far as I'm aware. Yeah. So like, it's a really dangerous pit lane.
It is a very dangerous pit lane.
The wall as well comes up so quickly, it's so easy to hit that wall on the inside or even on the entry itself. So yeah.
Yeah,
just technical pit lane entry.
It absolutely is, and I just noticed Scott as well, he had to correct on his way into the left-hander because that wall, it just juts out a little bit. And it's very easy to just hit that left front off it and break that suspension, which is not what you want to do. Matty Shaw just popping into 10th there with that lap. So we've got who else we've got to set a lap? We've got Luke to set a lap, who's the only, well, one of the few out on track on a timed lap currently. He's currently in Sector 2, coming under the, one of the defining features of this track, the bit of the track that goes under the bridge, under the grandstand. Well, actually, I just noticed that it goes under a bridge and under a grandstand. Didn't even notice that there, but then this wonderful last corner, it's a double left, and you gotta be so committed through that section there to get a good time. And this first section is going to be one where a concertina effect comes into effect. It's 3 corners in quick succession, and then a run down, long sweeping left-hander into a right-hander, slightly off camber to the left-hand side. It's very easy to drift wide and just tap that wall. And then the first of the DRS sections right down to the very twisty section in the middle here. But now drivers coming back out on fresh tyres. I don't see that anybody is trying... Well, actually, Liam Robbo is trying something different. He's just did his lap on the Super Softs. But he's come back out on Ultras.
Scott's actually come out, I think, on the Supers this time for a second attempt. I keep noticing that Liam tries this as well. Every race he tries it, and it's never worked out for him once, I don't think. At least what happened here, anyway.
Now, perhaps...
he likes his ultimate strategies.
He does. Now, perhaps with Liam, it's potentially a little bit of a strategy to use the Super Softs in the race, curing them slightly by doing a lap on them, then they're used, and they'll have a bit of grip in them. They'll lose a bit of grip, but they will be worn in, so to speak, so they might have a little bit more grip in the early stages of their use. So maybe it's a little bit strategic, but maybe I'm wrong. We'll go for a lap here. We didn't actually go right on board for a lap, but we'll ride on board with the man who's fighting to take the title this season, which is something I didn't think I'd be saying in the early part of the season. Here's Tom in the Ferrari. He's just building up to a lap here. Just at the beginning, at the last corner, there he hits the loud pedal, and here we go then for a lap around Singapore. Down the pit straight, DRS is not as effective down this little section here. Then it's a very quick chicane. You gotta clip that left, run the car out to the right hand side, then flick back into the left hand side, far as the curb as you dare. Then a little bit of a kink left before we head into another quick right. Hit that curb, careful not to run out too wide. That was nicely judged by Tom. Then into the DRS section. This is where the DRS comes into it is very effective down this little part of the circuit here. Then hard on the brakes into the left-hander, and then into a very, very tight right-hander. Got to get the car turned in, but not too much that you clip that wall. Then another tight left-hander here, and very easy to run wide there as well. It's also very slightly off camber. You've got to remember, this is a street. It's a normal day-to-day road here. Then we come into the famous Singapore chicane that a lot of drivers used to launch themselves over. It used to be slightly different before it was revised. Then we come over the bridge, hard on the brakes once again into the hairpin. Favourite overtaking spot where we saw a brilliant overtake by Felipe Massa a few years back. Then down this straight here, then into another hard right-hander, deceivingly tight. Running it out to the curb, onto the white line, then into this next chicane onto the brakes, clip the curb on the right hand side, clip the curb on the left hand side. Careful not to get on the power on the curb or it will spit you out wide. Then under the grandstand where the fans will so eagerly watch this procession of cars. Running it out wide to the wall again, then into the right hand and into the left hander once again, keeping the car rooted on the road there, and then coming to the spectacular last corner, clipping that apex. Gotta be so aggressive, and there it is, 137.4. That is provisional pole for Tom currently. That was a lovely lap to ride on board with.
Absolutely. You've got a few people retiring.
Yeah, really early on.
Maybe it's actually people who are coming out. For example, Matty Shaw, he waited too long to come out of the pits and actually had to retire as a result of it. He left with like 1 minute 30 to go. But
wow.
People are coming to the end of the laps now. Mr. Costa coming towards the final corner, and that's a tar off in front of him. Not sure if he's done a lap yet, but we'll see anyway.
Across
Mr.
the line.
Comes to the line, and he's starting his lap.
Oh my god! Oh dear! And that is chill drive.
Clearly wasn't too happy with his time there.
I'm afraid.
Sam went up to second there.
Yeah, 137.507, about 500ths of a second. There's Paga with the lap, 137.2. Oh, what a lap! What a lap from Paga. Now, can anybody challenge that? That's going to be a hard one to beat. Tom's retired, so he's going to be on the front row currently. Jordan just got across the line there in time. We got anybody else who can challenge at all? Not as far as I can see. Cole goes 11th. I think there's the only two who can really challenge might be Jordan and Mr. Costa. They're currently on laps currently. But what?
Liam Robbo as well.
Liam Robbo as well. He's down in 9th, and I think there's a little bit of rain coming down. I just noticed that. Yeah, it's drizzling. Now it's just come at the end of qualifying, so it's not going to have that much of an effect on the drivers. Maybe just a little bit psychologically. Now, Liam
doesn't have enough fuel.
Yeah, he doesn't, but he's 2.5 tenths up on his best. So let's see. He mightn't have enough to get to the finish. Let's see. Running under the grandstand.
Jordan's hit the wall a little bit there. He's sliding a lot on the rear. Mr. Costa as well, far on his lap. He's not actually too far off, and he can
Jordan's
still
backed off, I think. Yeah, Jordan's backed off. Mr. Costa's coming to the end of his lap. It's gotten so slippery so quickly. Clip of the wall from Mr. Costa. Oh, that's a lap over. That is pole position for Paga.
Liam at the last corner, ran out of fuel. Okay, Paul McGuinness, last person on the lap. Actually, no, sorry, Scott's one as well.
Oh, what a slide!
These supers are probably the better tire to be on, better for changeable conditions, but we'll say it's definitely not going to be a quick lap, unfortunately, though.
No. Oh dear. Oh my god. There's been a horrific accident at the last corner.
Oh! Paul McGuinness almost sticks it in the wall, and his AI, in fact, is going to bin him into the wall.
Hold on to it! Hold on to her! Oh, dear.
Ah, God.
There was a horrific accident at the last corner, I'm afraid. Paul McGuinness ramming the back of ILR Jake. Paga and Tom alongside each other on the front row in Singapore. It is going to be an interesting one. Sam with a good qualifying in P3, Jordan in P4, Mr. Costa P5, Josh in P6, Yannick P7, Jake in P8, Liam Robb in P9, and Paul McGuinness will round at the top 10. Colin P11, Matty Shaw P12, Luke P13, Casper P14, Scott P15, Corey all the way down in 16th, George in P17, and Childrive in P18. Corey actually didn't set a time.
Please don't rain.
Well, it already rained in qualifying. It's going to be the big reveal now. Are we going to have a wet race in Singapore? The answer is no.
Yes!
So, I wouldn't count the chickens before they're hatched, though.
Oh no. I mean, it'll rain on lap 2 for all we know, so.
It could. But we're going to have a dry start to the race nonetheless. So, we got the two championship contenders on the front row. This is going to make for a very interesting first corner, I feel.
Well, we know it's at this point, really. Whoever wins the race takes the lead in the championship, you'd imagine, so.
Yeah.
Yeah, this is a very crucial turn 1, one of the most crucial ones. And it's such a tight entry as well, and you had to almost set up for turn 2 to actually make the move work. So yeah, it'll be interesting to see how that works. Maybe being on the inside, but Tom was the person on the inside, could actually benefit from quite a lot here. Yeah,
so formation lap will get us underway here. And there's the Williams and the Ferrari, followed by the Mercedes. So we've got 3 manufacturers in the first 3 positions there. And Williams currently lagging behind in the constructors. I think Ferrari overtook them last race. So it is quite tight in the constructors, but it's currently Ferrari with the advantage. So they could also extend their lead in the Constructors' Championship after this one.
Yeah, but good. What's he done?
Right, right. Now, let's go back to the back of the group. It's got some interesting strategies going on here. We got a couple of guys on the super softs and 3 going for the soft tyres. We got Chill Drive George and Scott on the softs, and Casper, Luke and Maddie Shaw on the super softs. Top 11 going for ultra softs. So we got some differing strategies. I always suspect Scott to go on the hardest compound tyre possible. That's just what he does. But the others, Maddie Shaw, Luke and Casper going for those supers. So they'll be going a little bit deeper into this race and will probably lead at some point, depending on the gap. But they'll be going pretty much, the guys on the softs will be going past half distance into this race and probably going softs to ultra softs possibly. Might be a bit of a stretch to say that, but they might be able to do that if they look after the tyres.
Wonder if anybody's looking at a 2-stop, perhaps, because you can do ultra super. That is an option.
It's very aggressive.
Yeah, it is technically quicker, but like, traffic could play a part in that. But I imagine we'll see a few definitely varying strategies. I imagine in the top 10, hopefully.
Yeah, I have a feeling we're in for a cracker of a race. Let's just hope they all get off the line correctly. We're gonna have we are gonna see the concertina effect into turn 1. It's one of the worst ones of the season, alongside Monza here in Singapore. But here we go. They're getting AI control now, and they'll be brought up to the grid to begin the Singapore Grand Prix. And I think we're going to be in for a cracking race here.
Can't predict who's going to win this one, can you? Really?
You really can't.
It's so all over.
But this is a crucial point in the championship. Whoever finishes in front of each other pretty much will take the lead of the championship, depending on where they finish. But if they're in the positions they are now, Pago would lead the championship. If Tom reversed that, then of course he would lead the championship with 5 points in the difference. We've got a Mercedes in the middle of the grid. Not sure what's going on there, but we're about to get underway for the Singapore Grand Prix. 5 red lights. Lights out, and away we go. Paga gets away very well from the first row, and it's a good start from Tom as well. The Mercedes getting a good start as well, and round the outside they go, all get into turn 1 very cleanly indeed, more cleanly than I thought they would, but Paga holds on. Jordan challenging the Mercedes there into turn 2, and here they go towards turn 3 then. It's still Paga from Tom, from Flexi, from Silent Assassin. All the top 8 have held their positions pretty much. We got Paul McGuinness up to 9th, Matty Shaw up to 10th, and we got a few dropping down. But here comes Tom challenging Paga towards turn 4. He's going to go around the outside of the Williams. Can he hold that? No, he gets squeezed off the track. Paga knows he has to keep this position, and Tom down the inside of the Williams squeezes him to the wall, and Tom is into the lead of the Singapore Grand Prix on lap number 1. He had to do that. He had to take the chance.
Fantastic start there. Great overtaking there. And just further back, I'm noticing that no one's actually seemingly got any damage, and I find that extraordinary, seeing that so many people in turn 1 were changing position. I think clean driving.
I think Jake may have had a mare, because I think he was in the middle of the grid for some reason. It spawned him in the middle of the track, and he's dropped all the way down to 18th. So
I'm seeing a massive concertina there. Sorry, in the background. Looks like Casper's in trouble there, and Scott too's got damage.
Alright, there's your position changes. No big movers, apart from maybe Corey up 4 positions. And there's Casper out already on lap 1 here. Now, what's happened to him? He's at the wall somewhere. Yeah, that's at the end of the long straight, so he's just lost it under braking, looks like.
Looks like Josh has got damage as well in the McLaren, along with Liam and George as well. And then obviously Scott.
There's Yannick past Josh. Josh is in for wing damage. Yeah, there, and I also see him move.
Lost a lot.
Paul McGuinness. Yeah, Paga's now 5th. He's lost it to Mr. Costa. Mr. Costa's gone down the inside, and here comes Jordan as well to take away P4. Let's see if Jordan can get past here. Has he got damage? I'm not sure.
I have no idea how that happened. He hasn't got any damage, no.
Mr. Costa's now starting to challenge Sam as well for P2. Tom is up the road. Look at Paga behind, defending hard from the Ferrari here. No way through. Mr. Costa's right on the back of Sam as well, but Tom is now 1.5 seconds ahead of Sam, and that's exactly what he needed to do. at the beginning of this Grand Prix. He was opportunistic and he had to take the opportunity. He knew he needed to be in front and he went for it, and he did an excellent move. And great racing between the two of them. Hard but fair, I would wager. But now everybody just starting to settle into things and starting to get the rhythm of this circuit. Yannick just kind of in slightly in no man's land. He's 9/10 behind Silent Assassin and 1.3 ahead of Paul McGuinness, who's actually made a move on Liam Robbo into turn 1. I just remember back there. So he's up to 7th actually. It's a good start. And Matty Shaw up from 11th to 9th. There's Corey past Call Tactics down the inside. And he's really getting a move on here. He's into the points now. And he started in 16th place. And that's a good start from Corey there. Just Luke lurking in behind the Red Bull there as well. So, a lot cleaner than I thought it would be. So these drivers have got through relatively unscathed. And they've managed, the top couple of drivers have all managed to keep their wings attached. But Paga is really struggling in this early stage, and I'm not sure why.
I don't know why he lost them 2 positions in the first place, because, I mean, he looked like he was pretty solid in second, and then suddenly Sam and Mr. Costa both just went straight past him. He must have went wide at 1 or something.
I think it was at 1 that he had the issue, because Mr. Costa went down his inside, and then Jordan almost had him as well. So it's an interesting one. They're all still line astern. But
this is the perfect start for Tom. He's
absolutely
1.5 ahead already.
Right now,
options.
It does give him options, yeah. So he's got to be thinking, right, I've got to settle into the rhythm. Now I've got to be thinking, how do I make these tyres last? What is going to be my strategy later on in the race? He's got to be thinking of that. He's got to be thinking about saving fuel. He's got to have all these things running through his head. But right now, it's very early stages, but if it were to finish like this, then Tom would take the lead in the championship by quite a margin. He'd have quite a margin over Paga if we were to finish like this. I very much doubt it's going to finish like this because it looks very, very changeable already.
Kasper's left the session. That's not what you're allowed to do.
Mr. Costa is all over Sam here for P2. And Yannick is just starting to... Paga's he's not having a good time currently.
I mean, he was trying to pull away, and then just randomly Jordan starts catching again. He's just not having a good time. Maybe he's got a quality style. I see that a few times from Paga, where sometimes he just seems so quick in qualifying, but then he loses a little bit in the race. Happened a few times in ILR3 last season. Seem to remember.
And Tom is doing what he needs to do. He's sending the fastest laps across the board. And he's currently doing it. And there's George with the first time penalty. Remember, once again, it is strict, and Yannick takes the fastest lap there. And he's actually latched onto the back of Jordan now, so he's right in with the battle here as well. So now he's going to be playing a part in this too. And yeah, it's going to be interesting. I just had a glitch on my screen where ILRGT is now in the lead of the race. That confused me for a second, but we'll ignore that. Got a nice train of cars from Sam down to Mr. Costa, Paga, Silent Assassin, and of course Yannick in there as well. Paul McGuinness is a couple of seconds back, and there is something going on between Matty Shaw and Corey, who's just got past him actually. Just saw that there. He's into 9th.
Matty Shaw lost a little bit of something wind now on the right.
Let's have it right on board. I think he has actually. It looks a bit of the cascade elements I think are gone on that right hand side. Good spot. Yeah, I think it is gone. So yeah, Corey's now into 9th, which is a great start for him. He's trying to get up. Now he's in 9th. He just got past Matty Shaw.
On my screen, Corey's 10th and Matty Shaw's 11th. Is your ILRGT having issues again?
Well, he's currently 17th on my screen, so I think
that's... he's 7th on my screen.
Right. Interesting.
What's going on?
At least it's not to do. But Mr. Costa still latched onto the back of Sam here, and Tom just keeping that gap at 1.5. He's not pulling away, but he's got a good margin. He's out of DRS range, because DRS will be enabled this time by... Oh, it already is enabled. Mr. Costa is starting to gain on Sam's run down towards turn 1. Is he going to try and move? Nope. And Yannick is in very early on, lap 5. Let's see, just quickly switch to him and see what he's switching onto. Now, is that a wing change? No, it is a scheduled stop, and he's going for the supers.
So he's going for that 2 stop then.
Right, back on board with Mr. Costa. He's right on the back of Sam as we run down towards turn 5. Is he going to try it on the inside? Certainly yes. And down the inside goes the Portuguese man. Sam tries his best to hold it on the outside, but he gets shoved off the track. And Sam is going to lose out to Mr. Costa. And that has allowed Paga to now latch onto the back. And Jordan has suddenly dropped 2 seconds from Paga. So there's been an issue for him somewhere.
Maybe it's just Paga fighting his fiddle, but I think Jordan got a penalty on the last lap, and ever since that happened, he just sort of lost the rhythm a bit. Maybe not pushing as hard to avoid more penalties, but either way, he's closing in again. So
yeah, maybe it was the sometimes drivers can struggle with the heavy fuel, so maybe he's just starting to burn that fuel off now, and starting to get a feel for what the car is like. And now Tom is now 2.4 seconds clear. That little battle there has cost them a second. And now he's 2.5 seconds ahead up the road here. And he's doing sublimely so far. And he's doing everything he needs to do to take the lead of the championship.
I sort of get the feeling that Mr. Costa, once he gets a good rhythm, he actually might have a chance of catching Tom. Because I mean, he was all over the back of Sam, and Sam was holding the gap pretty well.
Yeah, I think he's already pulled half a second on him. So he's really pushing. I think he maybe could catch him. I think you're right there. Oh dear, Jordan is into the wall at the last corner. He is still kept that car intact, but that's a disaster for Jordan. He's now dropped to 12th place all of a sudden, and that is how quickly it can change. Now, for reference, I must say that ILRGT is not in the lead of the race. Please don't take that. He's in last place currently. Tom is in the lead of the race from Mr. Costa. And Paga's right on the back of Sam now as well, as the fuel load burns off and he gets used to how the car feels.
Well, just when you're talking about fuel, that might well be maybe Jordan just pushing it too hard in that last corner, and the rear end just no grip from there.
And now, because he lost it after the pit lane, he's got to go a whole lap with that broken wing, which is going to lose him a huge amount of time.
I think Sam might just tap the wall over there.
Yeah.
I don't think he's got any damage, but he's pushing it.
Yeah, he's trying hard to keep in front of Paga. So, running on to lap 7, it's Tom from Mr. Costa, from Flexi, from Paga, from Paul McGuinness, actually. He's up in P5. I didn't realise how far he'd come up.
Hold on. Your ILRGT is still glitching.
Is he?
He's 5th. ILRGT is 5th place. He's made 3 places up. So,
right, okay, so he's currently 17th on my screen and in the middle of absolutely nowhere.
Yeah.
Brilliant.
I'll keep you updated on him, see what he's up to.
This is why you don't leave the session, people. This is what happens.
Yes, it doesn't end well, ever.
Right, so currently, has it fixed it?
Liam Robbo right on the back of Paul McGuinness. Right. And this is for 6th.
Right, I think it's fixed it slightly. It's put him back in the lead, but it's fixed the positions behind slightly.
Brilliant.
I think it's fixed just the Paul McGuinness and Liam Robbo battle. It's pushed everyone else down a position, but this is really strange. But Paul really right out to the wall there. Liam's gonna have him down the straight here. I think Liam actually has wing damage as well. So this is going to be really impressive. He can make this move around the outside of Paul McGuinness. And that is an amazing move from Liam Robbo. That was confidence in a nutshell.
How did he get so done?
That was amazing stuff from Liam.
I thought he was surely going off there. I can't believe he made that actually work. And you know, that's put Corey on the back of Paul as well.
Yeah, Corey's really on the chart. He's now fighting for P7 all of a sudden after starting in 16th.
Yep. And he's already looking around the outside. He's really wanting to get the road. He knows he can get Liam.
And yeah, you were right about Mr. Costa's pace, because he has just pulled 0.4 of a second out of Tom. And there is Corey with the move on Paul McGuinness. He's trying to just get the traction on the way out of the left-hander, and that's going to sweep around the outside of the left-hander, and he is into P7 as a result of that one.
Very good moves.
Yeah, that's some really good moves in the space of a couple of corners. But Mr. Costa currently running P2. You have to say, he should have a lot more wins than he has. It just the strategies he's been on has let him down. As Corey's track limits also lets him down. But Mr. Costa, yeah, I think he should have at least 3 wins on his belt right now. Should have won in Hungary, should have won in Belgium, but just didn't come together for him. But here we are then.
So I'm just watching Casper's crash. He tweeted it, and he's had one of them really stupid 1 mile an hour wheel falls off. He's trying to reverse out of the barrier, and the wheel just comes off.
Oh yeah,
that's so unfortunate. I hate seeing that.
Right, here's an interesting battle. We've got the 2 brand new drivers for Red Bull about to go at it here for I think this is 8th position.
Yes.
So, Call on the Ultra Softs and Matty Shaw on the Supers. I'm not sure if Matty has just passed him or not, but nonetheless, it's a battle. We also got Luke lurking behind as well, and I'm surprised Luke has lasted this far into the race, to be honest. He has had a few races where he's just lasted 1 lap, but he's doing a good job right now, up on the points. Of course, if we look back to season 1, it took him, how long was it, 16 rounds to get some points on the board. But had a decent season the next season, and has had a decent one again this season. But yeah, running well in Singapore now, and he's got his George just behind actually. These guys are all on the softs currently. Pag is in.
Pag is in.
Right, so he is going for the undercut, and let's see what he's going to go on to. I think we also have one of the Mercedes. I think that might be Jake on his way in as well. Paga is going to go for the supers. Well, the Mercedes crew are out and ready, so that might be for Sam the next lap, but they are standing waiting for nobody in particular. Paga is out on the supers, and he's going to drop behind Chill Drive and behind Scott, so he's going to drop him into dirty air, unfortunately. So he's going to have to get his way past these cars. So now, we've got to watch your race leader, Tom. Is he going to respond to Paga, or will he extend his strategy just a little bit more? And well, we see
Yannick pits again.
Right, yeah, I'm not sure why. Yannick must be having an awful time. His wing change again. Oh, well. That's a real shame for Yannick, but you've just seen the pace of the Super Softs. Silent Assassin just setting the fastest lap of the race. Down in 16th. He's in clean air, of course, but the Super Softs are working well on his car, nonetheless. So
looks like Corey's really getting up to the back of Liam Robbo now.
Yeah, Corey's on an absolute charge here. Himself and Liam are up a ton of positions. Let's just check your position changes. Corey is up 11 positions from where he started, and he's only done that in about 10 laps, which is incredible stuff. And he's right on the back of Liam here as we run through Sector 3. And Liam, I think, is starting to struggle. He does have wing damage, remember. So he's going to be struggling through the corners. Let's see, Corey, I think, is going to have him into turn 1. And if he doesn't have it, he'll have it into turn 4. Let's see, in towards turn 1. Is he going to try it? Paul McGuinness into the pit lane. Liam very wide through turn 1 there. Let's see if he can get the undercut. Just got to line him up and get himself set up for turn 4. Get the DRS. And Corey will be into what I think and what I believe is P4.
Yes.
Right, I think it might have fixed it. So it's not. As soon as I said that, ILRGT get back into the lead. Right, so here we go. P4. This is the battle for P4, not P5. As you're seeing on your screens, is Corey going to go for a move here? No. Liam suffering horribly with the wing damage. Huge moment on the way out of that corner there. And you're going to see they both clipped the wall there on the way out. As it actually hit the curb. There's a little bit of a curbing there on the way, and they just managed to get their wheels up on that. Let's see if maybe Corey can do a Felipe Massa here. He's going to launch down the inside of the hairpin. No, he's going to get into position for the undercut, but Liam covers that very well. So now running down towards the next right-hander.
You know what, Matty Shaw, like, it's only 4.5 off this, unlike the alternate strategy. I didn't really think much of him when he came into this, but he's actually doing a fantastic job at the moment. He's still ahead of his teammate, who's on the better tyre.
Yep, he's doing an excellent job in his debut. These two drivers are actually doing a great job. 6th and 7th currently in the Red Bulls. And if these guys keep battling, they could catch up. And now your race leader in and Mr. Costa follows. Does Sam follow? Yes. And he's got a 5-second stop go for speeding in the pit lane. And Corey, I think, has he done it? Yes.
He stays out.
And now he's into the lead of the Singapore Grand Prix. Now let's check what he's gone on to. Matty Shaw and the 2 Red Bulls, they're into 2nd and 3rd. Luke is up to 4th. George into 5th. Tom's gone for the Supers. Mr. Costa onto the Supers. Sam has gone for the softs. Paga, where is he? He's almost got Tom. He's right alongside. Oh, Tom just stays in front. That was a hell of a series of laps from Paga. And now he's right on the back of Tom.
I did not see that coming.
I did not see that coming.
He had to pass 2 people. He had to pass 2 people on his outlap.
And almost got the race lead net there. But Tom just held on. Mr. Costa lost out massively there. Now Sam has gone for the alternate strategy. He's gone to the softs. So that's going to be an interesting one to watch. Now all these guys up front have yet to make a stop. Corey's in the lead, but he's going to be making a stop. Matty Shaw going to be going a bit longer. Tactics into 3rd. Luke is on the Supers. He's going to be going a little bit deeper. George is going to be going very deep into this race on the softs. And he is the next car before the net race lead, which is Tom, Paga and Corey. And Sam with the 5-second stop go has dropped quite a ways back from these guys. There's Liam Robert with a 3-second time penalty there. And
just noticing, look at George. He's literally lost both his end plates. How he's keeping us on the track, I've got no idea.
Well, he is a driver who likes to slide around corners, what we noticed.
Yes. Ooh, locks up a lot there, actually. Maybe not making it as easy as it looks.
No.
He's pitting now, actually. So
Corey,
maybe he did that on the slab.
Corey's still staying out on those ultra softs. So he's
got good pace, so...
Yeah. And George is into the pit for a new wing. So, lap 12 of 31. All going swimmingly well so far. And I think Paga, has just lost his opportunity. That was his one opportunity. Now Tom, in the clean air, has pulled out of DRS range. He's already 1 second clear. But now he's got to make sure that he has to be inch perfect. He's got to put in these laps. He's catching up to Luke, I think, and these guys who are still fighting for position, but have yet to make a stop. And there's Corey with a time penalty. So that's going to hamper his chance. I think that's his 2nd one, actually. He's got 6 seconds worth now.
I think Matty Shaw's got 2 as well there, so he's struggling a little bit maybe now as well.
Yeah.
Penalty. So, I mean, if you look at Luke, he's actually still DRS of tactics, so he's doing a good job there.
But he's got Tom right behind him
on
now.
The back of him.
Now
this could be the key for Paga maybe to try and get back in this.
Oh dear, I think that was drizzle I just saw coming down over the circuit.
Yeah, it is. It's raining.
And it is raining.
It's Corey pulling off a masterclass here.
Corey might have pulled off a masterclass. He's got to stay out.
Tom passes. Did no one see the weather report? Did no one see this coming? Is Matty Shaw on his debut set for 2nd place at the moment?
The top 3 have not made stops. So these guys can stay out and just... Now, it might not rain enough, is the next question. But will they take the gamble and stay out?
Paga now needs to get past Luke quickly because Tom's being held up.
Yeah. And now I see Paga's now getting backed up into Mr. Costa now. So Paga has got to get past Luke here and now.
Oh,
and Tom stuck behind tactics here. And here he goes, DRS open on the Red Bull. Red Bull is entitled to fight, but I'm sure Tom and the Ferrari pit crew and all the pit crews who just made stops are going to be kicking themselves. Paga is side by side with Luke here, and Luke is not giving up the position here, and Mr. Costa dives down the inside. He had to get past Luke somehow or another. But now, it's raining. We saw it coming. I predicted it. It made us get into our comfort zone, and now it rains in Singapore. And the top 3 have not made stops. Top 2, sorry, have not made stops. But they have time penalties, which is going to hamper them.
Yeah.
Tom...
But as they all get fit of traffic, Will they all keep their noses clean? There's so many cars, and when it's slippery like this, it's so dangerous. Tom, look, boys, hit him.
Oh, he's hit him. He's frustrated. He needs to get past. And also, Paga behind is also stuck behind tactics here, and he's getting back up into Mr. Costa. He's going to try it down the inside of the grandstand section here, and he has done that. Mr. Costa follows.
He's put tactics in the wall there. He's got damage to his left end plate, and Tom's still behind.
He's still behind. He's going to try it. Oh, there's contact! How have they held that together? Paga is 1.8 seconds behind, and Mr. Costa is 0.3 of a second behind him. Tom is getting very frustrated behind the car of Matty Shaw.
He's fighting for his life here. He knows that this is a genuine fight for second place, but surely Tom's got him this time.
Yeah, and there he goes, straight down the inside. And he is into P, what is essentially...
Tactics on inters.
Right, early, okay. Very, I think that's far too early for the inters. But maybe he knows something we don't. But he's going to be the benchmark now. It's still far too dry.
Costa went for out there. He just backed off at the very end of it, but he's looking to get past Paga for 4th place now.
And we know how good Mr. Costa is in the wet. He's going to be relishing this.
As long as he can keep it clean on the road, then yeah, this should be a good chance for him.
This could be
still leads, and we know how good he is at defending from Tom. This could become the full-on rivalry that we saw last week continued. Corey was not happy with the way Tom took the lead, so I'm sure he'll be fighting this one very hard this week.
Yeah, I think Mr. Costa can now perhaps feel that a race win is possible now because of his experience in the wet and how many races that he's been leading in the wet. But Paga is still stuck behind Matty Shaw. He just can't find a way past. That Red Bull is the widest Red Bull he's ever encountered. So let's see. Can you get past? He's going to try and get the traction. He's going to have to try and do what Tom did. There's going to be contact surely here. Matty leaves the space. Mr. Costa is just...
He's going to lose it.
He might lose it. Oh.
I thought Mr. Costa was a goner there for a second.
And in the background, Luke and Sam side by side. Sam into 6th.
Oh, I think Tactics might have actually booked a front win there. A little bit. On his inters. So, and Tom is right on the back.
Of course, yeah, he's flying. Seconds. He's 3.5 seconds clear of Paga. So now we've got to remember Corey is on 15 lap old Ultrasofts. So Costa is looking on Paga, and Paga's run wide, and Mr. Costa's got him.
Well,
that could be a crucial move.
Surely Costa, he knows that this is the type of conditions he loves. He has to surely go for the win now. He needs redemption. And
Tom is all over Corey to run over the bridge. And we head to the hairpin. Corey goes defensive. Watch Tom with the cutback on the way out. It's getting very greasy now, and a great run from Tom on the way out of the hairpin. He's going to have to go to the outside if he wants this one. Corey squeezes him right to the outside wall, and Tom sweeps it round the outside of Corey. And brilliant stuff from the Ferrari driver. Brilliant stuff from Corey. And Tom is into the net race lead here in Singapore.
Right then, so who's going to make the first move for enters? I mean, it's not wet enough yet.
No, definitely not.
He's going to have to pit. He's going to puncture his tyres at this rate if he stays out.
He's struggling badly.
What's he going to do? Is he going to take the risk? I mean, Tactus is losing big time at the moment. He's 19 seconds off any other driver at the moment.
He's staying out. And here comes Mr. Costa to take away 2nd place from Corey. In the background, the Red Bull and the Mercedes going side by side. I think that's Matty Shaw and Sam going side by side into turn 1. Sam gets it done before they even reach the corner. And now Paga is going to implement team orders. And Paga goes through to P4 without much of a fight.
Josh into the pits. Is this for interest? I wonder.
I would have to assume it is. Yes, it is.
Way too early, I still think. And Jordan in as well. I guess they sort of have nothing to lose. I mean, they're out of points, but Tactus has lost 5 seconds there in about 30 seconds. I mean, really stupid decision, but it might work out.
We've got a yellow in sector 3. Scott.
His front wing is very, very slow. He's lost the entire front wing, has he? Or just the end plates? He's just lost the end plates.
Well, he's in the pit, and Yannick in again. I think this is for Inters and a front wing.
Yeah, so they've hit each other somewhere, it appears.
Yeah.
And Matty Shaw's got a third penalty.
Right, now, top 3, and there's Yannick out, he's given up. Right, so we got the...
Oh, George and Chill! Wow! I thought they were going to go into the wall!
And that's George down the inside of Chill Drive there, and he has made that move stick.
Oh, Yannick's left as well.
And once again...
Come on, guys.
Now, I will have to disclaim this, drivers have been told not to leave the session. And I think there are penalties involved for those who do not comply with that order.
Sam is past
Corey. Corey is just all over the road. With his tyres have done 16 laps. And he's just struggling for the traction. He's got to give in at some point. He's giving in now. He's going for the inters.
Down in sector 1. I wonder if that is the light loss ahead for anyone, but no. Maybe Yannick's car, yeah, has left the pits, okay. Sometimes people like to go out and lose their head a little bit. And is it going to be inters for Corey? Yes.
Yep, I had to assume Matty Shaw as well. Right.
ILR Jackson from 10th.
Okay. Well, currently he's not up. He just spawned in the pit lane from being outside on the track. That's really weird. Right, Tom.
Well, about half of the field now on the inters now. It's a really tough decision. Yellow sector 2. I got it soon as somebody on the dry tires has had an issue.
So we've got the last 6 drivers all on inters. And Matty Shaw is the first of those, and that was his first stop, remember. If the conditions get worse, he is in a prime position to take a podium, potentially.
If Matty Shaw can stay up there and these inters suddenly get really quick, he might have a chance at even winning the race. Okay, he's 41 seconds off at the moment. But, I mean, we know how quick these can become. Very quickly. And such a long lap as well. It can make a big difference.
And Mr. Costa is catching Tom at a rate of knots. Right. Mr. Costa, we mentioned it before, he's very, very good in the wet conditions. He's just pulling time out of absolutely nowhere. He's flying, and Tom is in.
Oh,
that's an early call. That's a very audacious call, and call tactics is out. And that's probably for an act. No, he's retired in the pit lane. Now Tom is in for the inters. Very, very bold move from the Northern Irishman. Is that going to be a masterclass or a disaster class?
Luke's been it somewhere.
Oh, Mr. Costa!
No. Paga, what's happened?
Surely, no, that's surely going to be revoked.
That's for Tactics car, isn't it?
Sam got it as well.
We're all going to get one.
Yeah, right, that's going to be revoked, surely.
Need to note that down. I'll tell Jack that now, just in case he doesn't see it.
Top 3, Mr. Costa, Paga and Sam with penalties for passing a stricken car under yellow flags. Now Tom has come out behind Liam Robbo. Now we've got to keep an eye on him and see how the inters are handling in these conditions. There is quite a bit of spray, so it could be a good call here. Our benchmark will be his gap to Liam Robbo. Will it come down or will it go up? And currently it's going up.
Already 5 seconds left, go poundage, yeah?
Alright, so top 3 guys will have 5 seconds added on to their race time at the end, but that will hopefully be revoked. And Tom with a very bold move to move to the inters, and I'm not quite... Oh, Mr. Costa clipping the wall! Sideways out of the right-hander, or the left-hander coming towards the bridge section here. He's really pushing hard, sliding that car around. Now, I think we are close to the crossover point, if I'm honest, and Mr. Costa, he's thought about going into the pit lane there, but he didn't.
Wow. None of them are, by the looks of it. Even Sam's staying out. It seems they've still got the grip.
Well, Tom has lost 2.5 seconds to Liam Robbo on that lap alone. It's not quite the time. It's not quite the time.
Oh no, Matty Shaw! Oh, what's he done?
I think he's locked it up in the hairpin. I think he's locked it up in the hairpin, and that is now the lead car on the inters. Apart from, well, Tom is The lead car on the Inters. Paul McGuinness is on the Inters.
Oh
Corey's
my
on the
goodness.
Inters. Paul McGuinness is the first.
How's he got there? He just comes from nowhere, doesn't he, sometimes?
He's in a good position though if the crossover point comes at the right time, but he's really fighting the car. And Tom is dropping time so much. He's already 10 seconds behind Liam Robbo now. He's gone far too early. I think he's made a disaster of the strategy.
Paul's gonna Bennett, he's almost lost it in the last corner. Somehow he keeps it under control. I don't know how, but he hasn't crashed it. But Matty Shaw, another person has left the session.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
And George on the inside of Luke into turn 1, locks up the inside left, and he has got the move done. So he's the first car to make a move on the Inters.
So at the moment, Tom is already screwed. He's 34.
Yeah, he's lost. He has lost the race via that strategy, unfortunately.
Unless something really big changes and say they missed their point on the drives by like a lap. Tom's not making this back.
Yeah. So right now, Paga is defending that championship lead. As I said, that he clips the curb and almost loses the car.
George and Luke are still going for it side by side.
Mr. Costa is in.
Oh.
Paga is in. And Flexy's going to stay out on those softs.
Yeah, I think that's the right thing to do.
I think it's the right call.
He's on the best tyres. He's on the best tyres at the minute for this changeable condition, this crossover.
And also
the softs
Liam.
are the hardest tyre. Best, yeah, well, they're on the softs. They've got the best working range for these conditions.
And yeah,
Corey's got
they're serving their
5
stop
seconds
goals. They're serving their stop goals. And onto the
That's just
Inters.
not fair, is it?
No.
Right.
So Mr.
we need to tell Jack that.
So where is that going to put them out? It's going to bring them out in front of Tom by quite a margin.
Well, as long as it doesn't actually affect the race order, then that's fine.
I don't think it has really. It's put Tom a little bit closer to Paga, but it's actually dropped him behind after all of that. But right now, the two guys in the prime position currently are Sam and Liam in P1 and 2.
Yep, absolutely.
And Sam may have pulled off a shock win here if he manages to hold this car together for the last 11 laps or so.
He's got 20 seconds to Liam, so yeah. Does he even have to pit, you reckon? Like, I still think these tyres are fine for these conditions.
Yeah, they are. He's not struggling too much. His times are still good. Everybody else has decided that the Inters are the best, but really they aren't because they're losing so much time. And also the only other guy who's on the dries currently is Chill Drive on the softs in P7.
Yeah.
And I think he's actually catching Tom a little bit. Alright, so Sam in the lead in Singapore here. Mr. Costa in P3. Liam in P2. And Paga just behind. In P4. Just ahead of Tom. 3.7 seconds the gap. And we got about 10 or 11 laps to go, nearly 10 laps to go next time by, and this has probably been one of the most intriguing races of the season.
Absolutely, I mean this is a real strategic race.
Yes.
That's exactly what we want to see. Who can pull off the right strategies, and yeah.
Oh, Tom's got a
Tom's
penalty.
Penalties. He's starting to. Oh, I really hope. Well, don't lose your head. That's all I want to say.
Now, the one guy who seems to be adapting to the conditions very well is Corey. He's right on the back of Paul McGuinness right now, and he seems to be doing well in these intermediate conditions. Well, not quite intermediate conditions, but crossover kind of. But right now, it's still not wet enough for those Inters, as far as I can see, because Sam and Liam are still maintaining that gap up front at a margin of 10 seconds from Mr. Costa.
Oh, Sam almost loses it there. He's. Oh my goodness.
Well held, sir. There it is. There it is.
Get in the box, guys.
Get in the box now, and technically in the lead of this race. Almost. Well, not quite, actually.
Almost touch it.
He can almost touch it, is Mr. Costa. He always seems to be in the lead when it's wet.
Do you know what? Sam's 5-second stop go might just cost him here.
It could cost him, yeah. Now, it's unwarranted, of course.
Of course, yeah, we'll have to get, like I say, I'll say this many times, I'm sure it'll be removed.
But he does have a pit stop in hand over Liam. He's almost going to come out in front of him.
He's still making time, actually, on the people on the inters, somehow.
Yeah. So in he comes.
Heated the inters.
In he comes from the lead. This is a crucial pit stop. Sam may have snatched a race win, but there he is. There's his 5-second stop go.
So painful to watch.
It feels like an age in Formula 1. And there he goes. Liam is in as well. Mr. Costa is 8.9 seconds back from these guys. He's about to round the final corner. Sam on his way down the pit lane. Mr. Costa rounding. This is going to be so tight. As we run down to the first corner, Sam at the pit exit. There is Mr. Costa on the outside. This is going to be tight for the lead. Mr. Costa has got it, I think.
Well, as long as Sam stays within that 5 seconds, I'm almost certain he'll win the race. Unless Mr. Costa had a penalty as well. Did he have a penalty too? Do you recall?
I don't think so.
Right.
I don't think he has a...
I'm not... I can check it, actually. I'll check it, of course.
Yeah,
Because if Mr. Costa got one, then he'll win this outright. Because he'll have taken one too.
Yeah, I don't think Sam has a corner cut one.
Mr. Costa did get a stop go as well, so they've all taken a stop goes. All positions are in order again. So yeah, Sam has to get down the road and start chasing for this win now. Paga in the podium position somehow is going to be making points. Somehow he's going to be making 3 crucial points on the championship rival, and that just did not look possible at the start of this race, and he was struggling so much.
Yeah, I mean...
What will be going through Tom's head right now?
I don't know, I think he's kicking himself that he pitted that early. But Sam, this race win is not out of the cards just yet. Well, Paga's got a 3-second time penalty. So he's dropped out of this battle now.
Well, Tom had one as well, so
he is still in third. But Paga's now dropped out of this battle for the lead. And it's certainly...
Looking at other smaller gaps, actually. George right on Luke as well.
Yeah, Luke is still doing a good job up in 8th, by the way.
I mean, these two have been having a fight the entire race, it almost seems like. They're never apart, these two.
Yeah, true. So, I don't think George is going to be able to do anything. Not through this section anyway. Sideways.
Do you know what? The actual small bursts of lag from Luke just holds him back a little bit. You see him even almost avoiding them.
And Mr. Costa is now 9/10 of a second clear of Sam. Sam not quite able to keep up with Mr. Costa here. And Mr. Costa, I did not expect him to be up front this race, but I think this may be redemption this time round.
It has to be, surely. You can't lose another one.
Yeah.
It'll be cruel at this point if he does.
Absolutely. Sam sticking with him though. 9/10 behind.
Do you know what I said at the start of this race?
Oh, Sam's missed it. He's in the wall.
Ah, dear.
And he's ruined his chances there. Paga's through into P2, and now Tom may steal third. And he is going to steal third.
Now that actually has no change in the championship, really, because there's still 3 points being gained either way.
However, Tom does have a 3-second penalty, and Sam's still right with him. So,
yeah, but look at the front wing damage. Surely he'll have to pit for that. He knows he can. He's got 24 seconds to lay him. Actually, no, that's updated. Oh no, actually he can't pit really if he wants to keep that 4th race.
Oh, he's struggling.
Surely he'll lose time. Surely he'll lose too much time. This happened to me. I had oh my god under the pit path, and he almost sent him flying there. But no, this happened to me now.
He hits the wall again.
And as soon as you get damage in the wet, you're in for a terrible, terrible time. Look at him through the final corner.
He's
And
gonna.
it's just, yeah.
Mr. Costa's now 2.6 seconds clear. He's got absolutely no challenge now, because Paga with a 3-second time penalty, Tom with a 3-second time penalty. He's just got to drive to the finish now. And Paga, even though he got pole, I didn't see him that from the start of this race that he could finish in front of Tom, but it switched around, and he's now ahead of Tom, and it's just going to extend that lead just a small bit. It's not going to be a huge gain, but small margins do mean a lot.
Yeah, they really do, especially in these wet conditions. But like, yeah, can't believe we're actually on lap 24 already. I thought we'd take a lot longer, especially being in wet conditions, but somehow it's actually going by a little quicker than I thought it would.
Yes, it is. Luke also has just caught up to the back of Paul McGuinness as well for this little battle here. George still unable to get past him.
The whole race, he's going to be sick of looking at Reynolds.
Yeah, he's going to hate the sight of them now.
Ugh.
Alright, so now we are seeing some interesting things on the stream right now, so just ignore what you're seeing there. Because what was just happened right there is Paga has just put Jake into the wall, but he's not actually...
I want to be watching the stream then. Sorry.
just ignore what you've just seen.
Oh, George looked at it there. He had a real look at it. Locked up though, so he didn't have enough confidence to go for it.
He needs to gain the confidence at some point though, because he's been stuck behind for so many laps.
It's not that often he actually gets to race, always seems to be disconnecting, so he needs to be taking the advantage of it while he can.
Yeah.
And looks like Jake's had no actual internet issues this race either, or incidents that have affected him, so while he is 10th, it's better than the last 2 races at least, so I'm sure he'll be at least happy with that. And there Paul makes a big mistake down the last corner, goes wide, and Luke right on the back. And I don't know how much he's going to be able to defend this. He was one of the first to go onto the entry, so he must be getting pretty much towards the end, because they run so much
here comes
drier.
George. Ugh.
But Paul put them on such a dry track, would have been wearing them on so much more and overheating them like crazy. So he might end up being a sitting duck towards the end of the race if he doesn't get past already down this straight now.
Yeah.
And Luke is looking for it.
Starting
he's
to
probably
look.
not going to be able to get it down here, but he's got a really wide entry there, and it gives him the overcut there.
Yeah, there we go. He's got wing damage actually. Just noticed on the end plate. Oh, he's going to run him into the wall.
Oh dear.
And George sails by. Thank you very much.
That was unfortunate.
Yeah, and that's now. Paul just doesn't have wing damage. He's got absolutely no wing whatsoever. So
And does Luke get damage as well from that too? And
just,
Paul is so slow.
I think he does.
ILRGT's going to move up 2 places here.
Yeah. Can't see any damage on Luke's. Then again, I am riding on the. We're looking at the suspension, but as far as I can see, it's quite hard to see. But he may have picked up a little right-hand side damage there.
Yeah, right-hand side's gone.
Yeah. Now, as I was about to say something, Tom almost ended his race right there and then. What
did he do?
He rolled the curb in turn 2.
Oh, jeez.
So, lifted the car up a little bit, but he has pulled a small bit of time on Paga here. He's now 2.8 behind.
I don't know, that's enough. Or not really, at this point. I mean, it's in the wet conditions, it is so difficult to catch. No matter how quick you go, and I saw it for myself, no matter how hard I was pushing, you just have no idea how quick other people are going, and it just surprises you so much. I mean, everyone's so equal in these conditions around this track, because really you can't overdo it on this track. You can't really, if you overdo it, you bend it basically. You can't really make too much time.
Absolutely.
And yeah, looks like Paul McGuinness actually has been passed. He's going still with no front wing.
Yeah.
Very dangerous.
Well, he knows he's going to drop to the back anyways, so just going to maybe.
He just holds up Jake though. He's almost lost it. And actually, like, Paul really is holding him up right now. Jake cannot get past.
Corey with another penalty.
Has got. He's had a lot, hasn't he, in this race?
I think that's his fourth one.
Yeah.
So he'll drop him right down.
There goes Jake up the inside of Paul. And eventually gets to move on. But, oh, wow, there's Chill as well. The two Toros's going for it. Both of them have damage. And they're going side by side. And surely Chill Drive will get the move done into the hairpin. And his contact again. And luckily there was no front wing for Paul to lose there. Or else he would have lost it. Because that was a big hit. And he's actually going to try and make the move into his teammate again.
I really cannot believe that Paul McGuinness is fighting with his own teammate with a broken front wing. That's quite something.
That's Paul for you. At least he's still going at least.
Sam with a penalty.
And, oh no.
Oh, we've got a yellow. Oh, Scott.
Oh, right, Scott.
Turn one.
Don't leave Scott. Don't leave Scott. Don't break the rules, please. Hopefully he remembers the rule.
Yeah. So lap 27 of 31. Mr. Costa's still in the lead by 3.5 seconds. He's actually in the lead by a lot more than that because he's got a 3-second. The guys behind have 3-second penalties. He's in the lead by almost 6 seconds. So he's really just got to drive it to the end now. The last couple of laps.
This is the type of racing he really needed. Like the last two have been so rough for him as well.
Yeah.
Like to finally come here and just use the perfect strategy. It looks like he's going to get rewarded for it.
Yeah, he is. The last time it was wet was back, I think, in... well, the last one he was leading was back in Hungary. And that time he got jumped by the man currently sitting in P2 in second. That was of course, when the conditions got to full wet conditions. He decided that it was... I think he... Either that or the conditions got better and he stayed out on the wets. And the guys behind changed to inters and Paga ended up catching him.
Had an incident with Tom on the last lap as well. An incident actually lost Tom a lot of points, but he got a penalty for it in the end. Ended up something like 7th instead of like 2nd.
Yeah. That
was also quite a big one for the championship as well. But as well as today, Tom has had 2 missed opportunities to gain good points. And it's going to affect him badly. I mean, the gap will be 8 points after this race. He really easily could have been leading it after this, surely. Yeah,
he could have been. But Tom, it isn't a massive points loss. He's stuck with Paga, even if Paga is still ahead. So it's only going to be a 3-point gain for Paga rather than a 13-point or something like that. So he's still in with a shot at the title. With
helps.
I think we'll have 4 rounds to go. I think that's roughly what we have left. So
we've got Malaysia, Japan, and then what was it? US, then Mexico and not Mexico, Brazil and Abu Dhabi. Is that what we got left?
Well, maybe more like 5.
Yeah, I think.
Yeah.
I don't know if there's any others we missed really. Well, we don't do Mexico this season. I keep forgetting that.
Yeah.
I'm thrilled about that actually because I hate the track. It's a terrible track. The S's are utterly terrible.
Yeah, I think that was one of the tracks was dropped was also Sochi.
Sochi, yeah.
So Sochi and Mexico were dropped from the calendar for this season.
Yeah. I did not have a good time in Mexico last season.
I
managed to set pole and then lost the lead and binned it there on lap 1. I was just like, are you kidding me? Dreadful race.
Yeah, well, we've got just a couple more laps to go. So once it gets wetter, the lap times get slower, and the lap times tick by slower. So these last 3 laps will feel like an absolute age.
2-minute laps, these. So, yeah.
With the just for context, we are now. I think we're doing lap times that are about 30 seconds slower than qualifying.
Which is great.
Yeah. Paga and Tom are nip and tuck on pace. Tom gains a little bit, then loses a bit, and gains a bit and loses a bit.
Well, that's what I'm saying. These conditions on this track, everyone's just so equal.
I'm just going to quickly turn my notifications off because there's a lot of them popping up right now. Just give me 1 sec. There we go.
As I say, like, everyone's so equal right here because you can't push too much because the walls are so close.
Yeah.
Although Josh, that is not stopping him catching the pole. He is still not pitted with his entirely missing front wing.
Yeah. So
I'm surprised he hasn't actually stopped it, to be honest, afterwards. So, fair play to Paul, he's actually kept it on the road.
It's pretty much what driving a Formula 4 feels like. Just a lot faster.
Yeah. I mean, Sam's actually lost more time compared to his rivals than Paul. And that's just not right. Shouldn't be right.
Yeah. So, lap 30. I think we're about to go on to of 31. 2 laps to go here. And Mr. Costa is out in the lead. Rather unexpectedly. And is on course to take his second win of the season. It should be a lot more like his 4th win of the season, but it's his 2nd win. As long as he can keep it together for a lap and a half. And he will be on top. So
looks like Josh is really trying to get the move done now. Paul defends like mad though. He's absolutely going to the inside for every corner. He is treating this like it's fighting for the World Championship, and he's got no front wing.
Yeah, that's just Paul's nature though. And here comes the South African trying to find a way past. I'm sure he's going to find a way past at some point. But I think Tom's just having a bit of fun now, running around with a broken front wing, much like what Scott did by not pitting and going right to the end of the British Grand Prix.
There we go, there goes Josh.
And Josh goes through.
This time.
Oh dear.
Oh no.
Right, well that didn't go quite as well. Lovely bit of ballet work from Paul there. Showing his prowess.
Giving the fans a show there.
Yeah, absolutely. Great stuff.
Early celebrations.
Alright, well, this race has been going on for quite a while, but we're about to head on to the final lap here in Singapore. And
Thank God, ILR3 went to about 8:30.
Yeah.
It's a real mark for the race. This was not quite as on as that, but certainly on par with it anyway in terms of I mean, drivers have to keep so consistent, and in fact, look at Corey. I mean, he has actually closed right up to Liam now.
He does have 1,000,001 penalties, but that's
well,
and some wing damage. But yeah. So we have.
Drivers have to keep so consistent for so long. It's impressive to see. Not that many of them actually bend it in these conditions, but yeah, like I say, final lap then.
Final lap here in Singapore. Mr. Costa leads the way in what has been probably one of the most intriguing and probably one of the best races of the season, just because of how strategic the race turned out to be. It ended up being the man who could judge the conditions the best who ended up taking the win, and it has to be Mr. Costa, the master of the wet conditions, on his way to victory for the 2nd time this season. Paga is on course to finish in front of Tom and bring the gap to 8 points in the championship, and Tom is still very much in with a shot though, and we are heading of course to Malaysia next time. And Corey's got
going for it.
Even though this is not for position, because Corey has got 1,000,000 penalties to his name, he's still trying. He's got a 5-second stop going, about 12 seconds worth of corner cut penalties. There he goes, down the inside. And I think he's got a... No, Liam's cut back though. Liam has cut back on the inside, and I think it's going to be side by side through the chicane. He's going to run him out wide, and Liam's going to hold on for now. Back to the lead though.
Oh, he's bashed into him.
What a drive. What a race. Rounding the final corner. The fireworks go off. Mr. Costa wins in Singapore. What a win. What an unexpected victory. Paga takes P2, Tom takes P3 and breaks the Ferrari in 2 across the line. Sam is about to take P4. Now a couple of these will be corrected thanks to penalties. But I tell you what, George has just got past Corey. This is a 3-way battle for 5th now. George has slingshotted his way past Corey, and now he's right on his teammates' chuff as they run through the final sector. Running underneath the grandstand, Sam takes P4. He'll be happy with that. Could have been a lot more if he hadn't put it in the wall, unfortunately. Liam is about to take P5, but he mightn't if he manages to take this last corner wrong. He goes wide. Oh, he goes very wide, but I think he holds on. And across the line, Corey P7, Luke going to come across the line next, as far as I can see, unless ILRGT is still glitched. But
ILRGT right on him, but he's not going to get him unless it's penalties. ILRGT moves up to 7 through penalties. So yeah, Luke only 1/10 behind Corey there.
Yeah.
And I just got a message from Jack there 13 minutes ago. I didn't even see it. Apparently we couldn't hear game sound in this. So yeah.
Right. Well, that's I think that's starting to be an issue for a lot of people now.
Yes,
for some reason.
I have that issue as well. I've got that issue.
Yeah, so. I'm not sure why, but I'll have to look at some settings there. Also, Chill Drive with his first points, I think, in P10 there for Toro Rosso in his first drive for Toro Rosso. So that is a good race from him. So there. Big story. Tom
bottles the win really and has to I can't imagine what he's feeling right now.
He's going to be absolutely fuming with that one as far as I can see. But the gap is still only 8 points, but it could have been the other way around. It could have been just 3.
Yeah.
Or 2, sorry. Silent Assassin has just bottled it on the way through the final corner. He tried to be cool, he tried to drift it across the line and missed.
He's repeating what he did at the very start of the race when he lost his front wing. Maybe he's waiting for Josh. Maybe he wants a grandstand finish there.
Yeah, Josh across the line and hits his teammate. Oh dear. Oh dear.
He's killed him.
He's very much killed him.
That's a shame. Poor Tom.
So, going to the podium, we'll get the final standings for you. There's Mr. Costa on the top step. And, well, apparently it's Lance Stroll who took second, but it was actually Paga. Look at all those penalties. The debut of the strict corner cutting. Was there anybody who managed to avoid penalties? ILRGT and Josh were the only ones who avoided penalties there. But there is the final standings for the Singapore Grand Prix. We are very late for our next commentaries, but it didn't matter because
so much trouble.
This race was fantastic. We couldn't just leave it as it was. But Mr. Costa takes the win from Paga, from Tom. The gap is now 8 points. There's the final standings. We're going to be heading to Malaysia for the final time in Sepang, and then we'll be into the final few races of the season. Thank you all so much for watching, and we'll see you next time in Malaysia. Bye bye.
See you.